Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday, September the 6th. Regretfully, we've lost another 7 people and everything, but the trend you'll see as I talk, is starting to show some level of improvement and some level of easing. We're looking for the plateau, but I'll get to that in just a few minutes. Let's pay our respects to these great West Virginians that we lost. The 7,295th death is a 78-year-old female from Nicholas County. The 7,296th death, a 96-year-old male from Randolph County. The 7,297th death, an 80-year-old male from Boone County. The 7,298th death, a 94-year-old female from Wayne County. The 7,299th death, a 76-year-old female from Nicholas County. The 7,300th death is a 90-year-old female from Kanawha County, and the 7,301st death, an 86-year-old male from Greenbrier County. 7,301 people now have perished with this terrible pandemic in West Virginia. Active cases, 2,694, new positive cases, 2,563. Daily positivity rate at 14.16, cumulative rate at 8.5. Recovered cases are almost 578,000. 297 are hospitalized, 41 in the ICU units, and 9 on ventilators. We have 2 gold counties, Roane and Mercer. You'll see the map is starting to look better. If we'll go back to Dr. Marsh's comments about, what Dr. Marsh, General Hoyer, Dr. Amjad, all these folks are seeing, Secretary Crouch, all these folks are seeing is a leveling or a plateauing, across our country in different areas. It usually has a delay on when that will hit here, but it looks like this thing is kind of trying to move our way in a good way. I'll let the experts talk more about that, when we get there, but it looks that way to me. The map you can see does look better. From a standpoint of the Omicron booster shots, they are available. They are available for 12 and older, but we start first with the supply we have at 65 and older and work down from that and everything. I absolutely urge all the folks that are out there that are fully vaccinated and have their boosters to come and take this booster shot, because it is really important. It will really, really help you. From the standpoint of, all the information about, how we continue to slowly but surely get better. We get more and more folks across the finish line on the first dose, but the numbers slowly but surely are getting better. From the standpoint of the vaccine calculator and all the COVID vaccine information, it's all up on our website, how you can, register into the calculator and get notifications on when to get your booster shots. And so I think it's really important. I would highly recommend to do that. We have 114 outbreaks in our long-term care facilities, none in the church community, 89 inmate cases, and 51 staff cases in corrections. I remind you about the Homeowners Assistance Program and to take advantage. If you can, call us and we'll see if we can get you qualified. And if we can get you qualified, could be some real money come your way that could help out in really tough times, especially with all the inflation situations that we have today. I remind you about giving blood. It's really, really, really important and everything, from the standpoint of the Red Cross and all West Virginians, everyone all across this nation and everything. We should really consider that, check with your physicians and see if that's available to you, and if it is and everything, please consider it. The National Hunting and Fishing Days, and this is really big to me because I love the outdoors. I've always hunted and fished, and I just think that it touches your soul. It makes you better in every way, especially to be able to enjoy this incredible traditions of hunting and fishing with your children or grandchildren, whatever it may be. You know, I had the opportunity just on Saturday. On Saturday, we went dove hunting. I had my little grandson. He's 4 years old. He sat right beside me and everything. You know, it was really neat. Kathy was there. Jill was there. You know, Jill has always grown up, loves to hunt and fish and everything, you know, and Kathy the same. But Kathy's not the hunter and fisherman that Jill is. But little JC is sitting right beside me, and really, really good. We did kill a few doves, and we had a lot of fun and everything. There wasn't very many of us there, but we had about 15 people, and we had a nice little dove shoot. It was really good. But nevertheless, the National Hunting and Fishing Days celebration this year is going to be the 10th and the 11th of September at the Summit Bechtel Reserve in Glen Jean, the Boy Scout Reserve, and you know, and I guess Girl Scouts as well. You know, but I highly recommend it will be a great experience for all to go there and everything. So many activities that are going on, lots of fun. You know, the price of going is very low. I think it's $10 and everything, but nevertheless, it will really be a lot of stuff that a lot of people would really enjoy, and maybe either rekindle or kindle a desire to really be able to go out and enjoy nature and enjoy the things that will really touch your soul. So it's good stuff. Take in consideration that, and it'd be a wonderful drive to get down there and check that out on the 10th or the 11th. Here's something that's really dear to my heart, but you know how much I love kids, and always have. And I can tell you that kids today have so many challenges, it's off the chart. I said this earlier, you know, in basically a video that I was recording, but you know, the bottom line of the whole thing is, when I was growing up, we had play clothes and we had school clothes. We absolutely respected the school and our teachers and our firemen and our policemen, and we had all the respect in the world for church and our pastors, and with all of that, life seemed pretty dadgum simple. You know, we played ball, some kind of ball all the time somewhere, and then at night we'd play kick the can in the alley or something like that. Life really was pretty dadgum simple. You know, from the standpoint of drugs, and growing up, I never knew anyone. I had no idea of anyone that ever did drugs. No way. Think of the challenges that our kids have today. It's unbelievable. And honestly, I hate to say it, but think in many ways how we've regressed over the last 50 or 60 years. We got to do something about it, don't we? We really have to do something about this, because really and truly, if we go through the same level of regression over the next 50 or 60 years, God forbid, where are we going to be? Where in the world are we going to be? But with all that being said, one of the things, you know, that we're going to try to help our kids out with is this Children's Crisis Center. You know, in Elkins, West Virginia, we're building a new Children's Crisis Center. And so today I am announcing that it will be built in Elkins at the site of the current West Virginia Children's Home. The West Virginia Children's Home is not functioning like a real crisis center. They don't have any ability to be able to do that. Now what we're doing is we are moving this forward to absolutely be able to really help our children in a big way. The absolute West Virginia Children's Home's done great work. They continue to do great work. But now we want to really move this to another level. Elkins is an absolute fabulous community for this, and Secretary Crouch deserves a ton of credit. You know, we've had people go up and meet with the folks in Elkins over and over, and literally we've got a plan that will really help our kids and help a lot of kids that are at risk and that really need the help and need it right now. So with all that being said, you know, I think Secretary Crouch is on, and maybe he can add a little bit more to it in just a second. But nevertheless, I congratulate him because he's done a good job there, really good. Now, this is a little bit bittersweet, to tell you the truth, but you know, I talk about the experts that I have on with me all the time. Now I'm going to focus just a second on Dr. Amjad. You know, Dr. Amjad came and really stepped up at a time when we really, really needed somebody. Her degrees are unbelievable. She is so smart, it's just off the chart. And so kind and good in what she does. You know, she is stepping down right now as a state employee and will serve on a contract basis as my senior advisor to the state health officer and commissioner of the Bureau for Public Health. This will go into effect October the 1st. Now, while she'll be stepping down, she's not going anywhere, and she's not leaving us. She'll be on the briefings with us all the time, and absolutely, we've got to step back and thank her for incredible service. I mean, she's done a whale of a job. That's all there is to it. I mean, if you just step back and just think about it, all these experts that are on with me all the time, they deserve so much credit. But we want to congratulate her as she moves on to different other areas with her life and everything, and her business or whatever it may be. But at the same time, we thank her for staying as a senior advisor and absolutely staying on to be able to help us and guide us as she already has over and over. So, you know, I'm really proud, and Doc, I can never thank you enough. You stepped up at an incredible time, and really proud you're going to stay with us. That's all I've got right now.
All right, thank you, Governor. Let's now hear from Dr. Amjad, our state health officer.
Good morning. Thank you, Governor, for the kind words, and I really appreciate it. It's been probably the highlight of my career and my life to actually serve with you and then our entire team here on the pandemic leadership team, as well as the DHHR. And the reason I am stepping back is just to return to my clinical practice. I do miss seeing my patients. That's a great bond for me and a great way for me to know really what's going on. So I do miss that part of this role. However, I'm very happy to stay on and serve as needed as long as I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Next to retired Major General Jim Hoyer, the director of our Joint Interagency Task Force.
Good morning. I just want to clarify a couple of things. I may have caused confusion with the video from last week. As the governor pointed out, the COVID-19 Omicron booster is now recommended and available for anyone 12 years of age and older who has completed their primary series, meaning 2 shots of Pfizer, 2 shots of Moderna or the Novavax, or you have taken your booster shots and you are more than at least 2 months from taking the last shot. In other words, everyone, again, over age 12 who's completed that primary series and is at least 2 months out from the last shot, to include your booster shots, is recommended to get that COVID-19 Omicron booster shot. One of the things that I mentioned in the video was the focus on those over the age of 50 and those facilities such as our long-term care facilities. We are placing additional emphasis on making sure that the logistics and supply chain is in good shape for all those facilities. As far as over the age of 50, the governor and his team strongly recommend anyone over age 50 go get that COVID-19 Omicron booster shot. So hopefully that clarifies things related to that. And we strongly encourage those over age 50 to go out as soon as they are eligible. In that regard, we have updated the COVID calculator, and the calculator can help walk you through that process. I want to thank Dr. Julia Frostino, Dr. Lisa Costello, and Steve Lowe, graduate student at West Virginia University, who worked over the Labor Day weekend to make sure that the The vaccine calculator was up to date. This has been exceptionally successful for us in West Virginia, clarifying those things for our West Virginia citizens. Also, just want to point out that our hospital numbers are still steady. They are below 300, but we did have a slight uptake, but they're still below 300. So we continue, as the governor pointed out, with our map, continue to work our way through this. Getting that booster shot is going to be exceptionally important to all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Next is Secretary Bill Crouch with the DHHR.
Good morning. As the governor mentioned, Dr. Amjad is stepping down as a state health employee, but will continue to serve on a contract basis as a senior advisor to the governor, to myself, and to others in state government. So she will continue to provide medical oversight and function as the state health officer until a permanent replacement is named. Dr. Amjad will participate in the governor's press briefings as requested, will provide medical oversight with recommendations for COVID-19 Joint Interagency Task Force, provide medical subject matter expertise, and consult on DHHR public health policy decisions. Dr. Amjad has been a valuable member of DHHR's leadership team and to me personally. I don't think folks understand how many times she stepped up and beyond what normal duties required to assist everybody in DHHR and in the state with regard to medical needs. So I can't thank her enough. I'm pleased she's staying on for a while and will continue to be part of the pandemic leadership team. So thank you, Dr. The governor also mentioned the Children's Crisis Center. DHHR will build a new Children's Crisis Center in Elkins that will offer a safe alternative and diversion from the use of hospital emergency departments and hotel rooms to address the needs of our children removed from their homes who may be experiencing a behavioral health crisis. We've had multiple instances of children being in emergency rooms of hospitals for days and even weeks, and this needs to stop. The new center will be located at the current site of the West Virginia Children's Home. Will serve children and youth under the age of 21, with the primary target being age 9 to 21. It is for those who are experiencing behavioral health crisis, a behavioral health crisis that needs to be urgently evaluated, stabilized, and then referred to the most appropriate level of care. We'll operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we'll utilize private patient rooms to provide necessary services, including initial triage, crisis assessment, stabilization, and intervention. We'll have nursing assessment and intervention, psychiatric intervention, peer support, ongoing assessment, and discharge planning. Patients will stay up to 14 days. We will believe this will provide the necessary crisis care our children need and deserve in their home state. I request the proposal will be issued by DHHR for construction of this new facility very soon. So, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Next, we'll go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good morning, Governor and staff and fellow reporters. Let me also congratulate Dr. Amjad and thank her for service to the state. Ayn, you've become a good friend over the years and have always been very accessible to media questions. And you're the epitome of a good public health officer because part of that job involves communicating with the public through the media. So congratulations, and I wish you the best. Stay in touch. Governor, I know you're a math guy. You always like to talk about being a numbers guy. I just did a quick calculation here. Nucor Steel, 2,000 construction jobs, 800 permanent jobs. Green Power, 200 jobs to start with, maybe 900 as the goal down the road. Pure Watercraft, 200 plus jobs. The Appalachian Climate Technologies announcement Friday, they were talking about 3,000 jobs coming out of that. That all adds up to somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 jobs. Where are we going to get the people to fill these positions? Is the state going to have to get very aggressive in recruiting workers from out of state to come here? And does this, put your foot on the gas pedal to try and speed up the elimination and reduction of the state income tax as a way to draw people here to take these jobs? Because I think everyone knows the state does not have enough people, enough person power right now to fill all of these jobs.
Mark, I don't want to sound like a smart, but But in all honesty, if we just tell the truth, for God's sakes a living, if we would get on a pathway to get rid of our state income tax, we'd be covered up with people to fill those jobs, wouldn't we? You know it and I know it too. That's all there is to it. It's a way to drive real growth and real opportunity to West Virginia. And now Lori Smith continues to, with our workforce resiliency officer that we have, she's working on it like crazy and everything. But absolutely, without any question, the simple answer is get rid of our state income tax. I mean, you talk about a driver of growth and population to West Virginia, that's it. And not only that, but it puts big time money right back in the pockets of all the hardworking West Virginians in this state. I don't know what we're waiting on. I don't know what in the world we're waiting on. But nevertheless, that's the bottom line to me.
All right, thanks, Mark. Next is Steve Adams with Ogden Newspapers.
Yeah, Steve Adams of Ogden Newspapers here. You've made it very, very abundantly clear that you're not the biggest fan of the state Senate's plan for eliminating 6 categories of tangible personal property taxes if Amendment 2 is adopted by voters here in November. But I've not heard you specifically say one way or the other where you stand on Amendment 2. I know in the past, I think as recently as 2019, you have supported a similar constitutional amendment to give the legislature the authority to either reduce or outright remove those taxes if they should choose to do so. Where do you stand on Amendment 2? And while I have you on here, there's other constitutional amendments. I believe Amendment 4 is the one dealing with giving the legislature rulemaking authority over Department of Education and Board of Education rules. Where do you stand on that one as well? Thank you, sir.
Well, Stephen, let me just stay with Amendment 2 right now. Amendment 2 started out to me to be innocent looking. But Amendment 2 is growing into a situation that is driven, in my opinion, by a lot of politics. Well, I can't stand that. I just can't stand it. At the end of the day, now what we're trying to do, what we're on a pathway of maybe doing is just this. We're going to take away an income stream from the counties. We're going to place all the control in Charleston. We're absolutely going to just ignore the fact that what if we had a real downturn? What if we had a real downturn? Well, all of a sudden we'd be up Duke Creek. That's all there is to it. Now, so with all that being said, it's really going to be big time sledding for me to get on board with Amendment 2. The other thing is there is no possibility, no possibility you could get rid of the state income tax and do things that are driven from the standpoint of this big machinery and inventory idea. Now, who's going to benefit? Who's going to benefit from the machinery and inventory tax? Well, first of all, Jim Justice would really benefit from it. But Jim Justice is saying to you, I don't want to do that. And the reason Jim Justice doesn't want to do that is because we're taking away an income stream and betting on good times forever and putting at risk our schools, our EMSs, our firemen, our police, whatever it may be. Now, look, I came here to serve. I came here to give of myself to the people. That's what I did. I didn't come here to try to get something that would benefit my businesses. Now, I don't care what anybody says in the world, I didn't come here to do that. From my standpoint, absolutely, we have got to step back and just think about what we're doing. Now, would Jim Justice be in favor of getting rid of the taxes on our automobiles? Of course he would. Of course he would. But Jim Justice would not be in favor of doing that and putting that on the ballot to get the votes to be able to cover up the other situation that would happen from the standpoint of downstream damage to maybe our schools or fire departments or whatever it may be, or at least put it at risk. Jim Justice is not going to do that. Now, this has turned into a political football. And the bottom line of the whole thing is always just this. Think about it. Think about the giant corporations that are out-of-state corporations. Sure, they provide real employment here. Think about from the standpoint of if we just removed a tax. I mean, you heard Mark Curtis just a few minutes ago talk of all the businesses that are coming here. For crying out loud, I have not had one yet, not one, say I'd come if you didn't have a business and inventory tax. Without any question, every tax publication out in the land says states that get rid of their personal income tax are states that are on the move, and states that cling to the machinery and inventory tax, they're not moving. Now, and the last, I guess my last of my last would just be simply this. I just met with the Federal Reserve, and the guy right off the get-go said, absolutely, if you don't watch out and if you're not on a move to get rid of your personal income tax, you're not going to be competitive with South Carolina. You're already not with Tennessee. You're not going to be competitive with Georgia. It just goes on and on and on. I know what we ought to do. And not only that, we ought to be doing it right this minute. We ought to be putting money back into taxpayers' pockets because it's their money. It's their money. And absolutely getting rid of the personal income tax affects the workers of this state. That's where I stand. I don't know, and so, Stephen, we'll talk about the other amendments on another day, but that's exactly where I stand.
All right, thanks, Stephen. Next to Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. Governor, could you share any insights that you can about your talks with legislative leaders and the plans to reconvene the special session? As I'm sure you're aware, Speaker Hanshaw said he wanted to reconvene next Monday. President Blair said he was shocked by that idea. So anything you can share about what's going on there? Thank you.
Charles, I'm going to just get myself in bigger and bigger trouble here and everything. But Charles, why are we not in session, and why are we not really dealing right now with the personal income tax, and why are we not dealing with life? And it's a life issue to me, which is the abortion issue, but it's a life issue to me. Why are we not doing that? The reason we're not doing that is we got an election in November. That's the reason we're not doing it. Well, for God's sakes living, we are here. We're here not to be first and foremost running for re-election or running for the next office. We're here to do our job. The United States Supreme Court passed a decision down that was a landmark decision. And we absolutely are sitting on our hands. What are we going to do? We're going to sit on our hands until after November? Well, what's happening now? There may be a lot of not good stuff happening right now. With all that being said, I absolutely believe that from our taxpayer standpoint, from the so-called abortion that I call life issue standpoint, we ought to be here, and we ought to be making decisions, and we ought to be moving on down the road. We should not be blocking the fact that we want to hold back more and more and more of the money, and so we can maybe hoard enough money to be able to pass the machinery and inventory situation, and then if we pass the machinery and inventory situation, we'll be able to have that money to cover us for a period of time. At the end of the day, what I'm afraid of is, the old adage, build a field and they'll come. Well, they came to the Field of Dreams, but we built a lot of fields before I got here and thinking that they'll come, and they didn't come. That's all there is to it. We built a lot of fields in hopes that people would come, and they didn't come. So with all, what I would do is run with the absolute proven track record. Any state that has gotten rid of their income tax, they came. Lots and lots of situations we could say, well, we're going to take away the business and inventory tax, or the machinery and inventory tax, I'm sorry. We're going to take that away, And then we're going to sit back and wait for the phone to ring. And then what if it doesn't ring? I mean, really? We got a lot of people out there right now with inflation going on and eating people up right now that we could be putting money back in people's pockets. That's what we need to do.
All right, thanks, Charles. Next to Randy Yohe with West Virginia Public Broadcasting.
Hey, good morning. Randy Yohe here with West Virginia Public Broadcasting. Governor, I just have to follow up on Charles Young's question because it seems to me that the progress isn't being made without communication between our branches of government. I mean, President Blair told me last week that the communication between the Senate and the executive branch has not been resolved. Seems like there's communication issues now between the Senate and House leadership. And as you said, the people of West Virginia and their time, money, and interest are caught in the middle. So what's the problem with communication and how does it get fixed?
Randy, let me tell you, I may be all over this state, but I'm not ever anywhere but all over this state. And I have said 15 times that I was willing to negotiate on our points from the standpoint of the governor's side over and over and over. Now, the problem is you've got the House, as far as the income tax stuff, you've got the House and the governor together, and we're both saying we'd be willing to negotiate. Chairman Householder, Speaker Hanshaw, all of us, and we're at a loggerhead on the Senate side. You know, absolutely, from the standpoint of I mean, you know, we can come up with any excuse in the world and say, well, you know, I really just haven't had, you know, I'd really tried to get a hold of you, I couldn't get a hold of you, and whatever it might be, and that's hogwash. That's just plain hogwash. You know, on the abortion issue or the life issue, our AG said we need to come, you know, we need to come in, and I have asked over and over. I have said, you know, this is a responsibility of the legislature to me. It is not something, and the bottom line, Randy, is one thing. We can grow a lot of bushes to hide behind, but the bush is really simple. November is election time. November's election time. And everybody's diving in the ditch and not willing to really address the issue, and it's a shame. That's all there is to it. We ought to be doing it right now.
All right, thanks, Randy. Governor, I'll turn it back to you.
Gosh, you got me wound up here and everything. I'm sorry and everything. Please forgive me. But I would just touch base real fast, you know, on just, you know, from the Omicron standpoint, get your shots. They're available to you, especially if you're 50 and older. Please get your shots. 12 and older, you know, are all eligible if we have supply. You know, we surely wanted to make it, you know, first and foremost available to our senior citizens. This disease, you know, or pandemic has affected our seniors more, and that's why we're trying to take care of them. I congratulate, you know, Secretary Crouch on this Children's Crisis Center. It'll do great work in Elkins, and great folks up in Elkins. It'll be really good. And the last thing I'd say is, Dr. Amjad, you have been a superstar, and I just love you to death, and thank you for all you've done. And I know you'll keep on doing great work for us, and I congratulate you and wish you all the greatest blessings and everything in your practice and everything. And I know you want to be with your patients and everything. You're a heck of a doctor, and really, really proud. Great addition we've had. Thank you.